Hey, welcome to this edition of Down the Road. We're going to get a chance to visit with an individual with the North Dakota United Bush Foundation Fellow, and we're going to get a chance to talk about that, what the goals all are. We're also going to get a chance to visit about Liz Cheney today. You know, she got kicked out of as one of the heads of the Republican caucus. So was that right? Was it wrong? We'll talk about it as we head on down the road. But I've known Bryan Niewind for a long time, captain in the North Dakota Highway Patrol, somebody who, quite frankly, is out there on the front lines on behalf of all of us across North Dakota. As I said, he's a captain, so he oversees a number of troopers, and we do a little radio now and then, and now I talked him into doing some TV. So let's get to him. Captain Niewind, good to have you coming down the road.
Thanks for having me on, Joel.
Let's just do this because they're going to look at you and they're going to know you're an old football player. Where'd you play your college ball?
I played football at Valley City State.
Yep.
Yeah.
And were there any relatives that played at Jamestown so you could argue the rest of your life?
You know, I've got coworkers that played at Jamestown, so we've had that little bit of rivalry going on at work, but I don't know anybody personally that went there outside of work coworkers and some friends.
I'm not trying to get you mad at me, but who won?
You know, I would say that over the years, you know, some years we played twice, some years just one time, and we had their number.
Now, aren't you glad I asked?
Yeah.
We had their number. Captain, a lot of things going on out there right now. You've got COVID, you've got summer, you've got all of that. Let's start with construction because that's kicked in big time right now. Those construction zones, those construction areas, they're marked better than they ever have been in my life. I mean, 20 years ago, you remember what they looked like. I mean, for the average person out on the road, what's your advice to them?
You know, we're going to have construction statewide. There's various types of projects going on. So just be prepared when you're traveling for those zones. Obviously, there's going to be work going on in portions of them, not always throughout the whole zone. So be paying attention to those changing signs that you're driving through those on. It's going to be telling you either to slow down or you can speed up. If there's going to be workers up ahead, there might be some of those zones where there's flaggers where they're going to be stopping traffic. So just be prepared always when you're in those cone zones for changing conditions and those workers that are going to be working there. There's going to be vehicles possibly pulling out of some of those areas that are hauling material in and out. So there's going to be a lot of different things going on in those construction zones. So get rid of those distraction devices, especially when there's in those construction zones, because things change day to day, hour to hour in those, and you have to be prepared to be able to react to that.
Well, I got to share this, and you're going to be proud of me, but yet pointed me at the same time. I was driving through one of the construction areas the other day, and it was night. And so I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, okay, they're not working now. I mean, they're not. But I thought, better be careful here. They were working. I was surprised they were working past that dusk moment. How often do you see that?
You know, there's certain projects where they will work at night. There's not a lot of them that they do. Obviously, we have more daylight now this time of year in the North Country, and that gives them more hours to work each and every day. You know, some of these crews, they can't get enough people even to work 24 hours if they wanted to. So a lot of it comes down to manpower and how many hours they can actually work their personnel. We've had good weather leading up to now. You know, we had a really easy spring, so some of these projects have started earlier than others. And I think they're getting a lot of work done. And then hopefully some of these things will end sooner than they thought they would, so we can get back out there to some of those normal driving conditions in some of those zones.
You know, for me, as I drive, and you know how much I drive through some of these construction zones, you go through Valley City in a 38-foot motorhome running all over the state, and it's windy as heck. You got to slow down. I mean, you've got to slow down, and I get the sense at times I'm ticking off the people behind me because the construction zone might be 55, but the window on the bridge is pretty narrow and it's windy, and so, you know, if I don't care if I'm going 40, what happens to the folks behind? I mean, you've seen it. There's a lot of anger in those.
Everybody's just got to be patient, right? Again, those conditions change. You know, like you talked about some of those zones, if you're traveling on, like they push traffic to the shoulder, those shoulders aren't built to maintain the level of traffic that travels over them. Those can break up, right? And those can cause some issues for traffic too. So again, those conditions are always changing. Be aware of those and just be patient. The biggest thing you can do when you go in a construction zone is just be patient with the other traffic that's there with you and with the work that's going on. They're trying to make the roads safer, better. So I mean, you get those projects done as soon as they can so they can get them reopened and traffic goes back to normal.
You know, there's always that belief that when you cross over and there's 2 lanes of traffic heading head on head, that the highway patrol can't get you anyway, because how are they going to spin around and dive in that? I think that you need to address that, because I think that I've found that you can sit on both ends of that construction zone.
Yeah, we work construction zones. So obviously we do it on our regular time. The DOT provides us overtime funding as well as an agency to go out and work those certain zones across the state. So our troopers are going to be out there taking enforcement action because we know the importance of being safe in those zones. When you put interstate traffic head to head, that can create some big issues. So we're going to be out there monitoring that, trying to make the roads as safe as possible, which is our main priority each and every day.
Now, there is a way for the public to track it, to see, how those construction zones are going and where they're at.
Yeah, it's very important for people to plan ahead, right? There's so much information out there now, whether it's you're on an email list through DOT, you go to the travel information map, whether it's for our state or other states when you're traveling, to figure out what's the best route to take, try to avoid construction if I can. The DOT posts all of traffic issues, all traffic construction, load restrictions, and everything else on our travel information map. So it's a really easy resource to go to. You can put it as an app on your phone. You can go to a website. All that information is always pushed out, notifying the public of what's going on across the state of North Dakota, whether it's during the winter months when we have weather or the summer when we have our construction season.
Captain, it does change season to season. We're about to go into a season where you got Memorial Day coming up, a lot of the schools getting out. For you, it's got to change what you're keeping an eye on.
For us, every day we're out there trying to enforce the law and trying to make our roads safe. But like you said, it does change. Different types of the year, we're looking for different types of things. Obviously we have our holiday periods coming up here, which are very, very busy months for us. Graduation, colleges are getting out, people are traveling in the summer. Summer is our busiest travel in North Dakota. We have people that are traveling through, people going to town celebrations, all the stuff that's going on across North Dakota and across the United States, people traveling through. It's actually our deadliest months as well. And you'd think normally winter would be deadlier than it is actually in the summer, but our summer is our deadliest months. There's more traffic out there. There's more celebrations going on, which leads to people drinking and driving more. And we just have more traffic fatalities, more serious injury crashes in our summer months, which is unfortunate. So we push a lot of overtime towards that in the summer months, whether it's alcohol overtime, we have seatbelt overtime, construction overtime, speed overtime. We have all kind of projects just to make our troopers more force multipliers, having more of them out there to provide a safe traveling environment. But our troopers are out there each and every day in their regular time doing the same thing as well.
So how are you able during this whole COVID crisis to keep the manpower up, to keep the men and women that work with you, that you oversee, to make sure you got enough bodies? So
there's been a lot of changes, right? Whether it's if we can take people to jail or not. Jails aren't accepting people. We wore masks when we were dealing with people for a long, long time, probably 6-8 months within our agency. We did things as an agency to try and provide PPE, disinfectants, all those things so we could have a healthy environment for our troopers. We allowed our troopers to go out and get vaccinated as well if they chose to do that. So there's different things that we tried to do as an agency to try and provide a safe environment for our troopers, which in turn would provide a safe environment for the people that we were dealing with. We can't go down, right? I can't have a shift of troopers go down because we're out there trying to provide public safety. And if we have, like in Fargo here, we have 14 troopers. If 7 or 10 of those went down, who's going to be out there, and, out there providing those services that we have to provide each and every day? So we try to do the best we could, keeping people separated, doing team meetings over like Microsoft Teams versus getting together. Just backing off from interacting as much as we used to probably for a long, long time. We're starting to get back to, doing things in person now because I think some of that threat is really diminished for us.
See, I would have put you guys down as essential. That, before somebody like me, I'm older than you, but I should not have gotten the vaccine offered to me before you. We've got to have you out on the roadways. Did that happen? Were you considered essential personnel?
So we were allowed in December to start receiving vaccinations for troopers and sheriff's department, police department, ambulance personnel, fire department. First responders were allowed back in December to start receiving vaccinations here in December, and a lot of them took advantage of that.
Okay, well, good. I mean, quite frankly, it is more important for you to be out on the roadways than me. I'm just trying to get somewhere to work. You're trying to make sure I get to work. The difference in speed limits when you go into some of these different times. Fargo changed. When I come south into Fargo, you're slowing me down earlier now. Who makes those determinations? Do you guys give advice to DOT?
Number one, we take input from the public. There's a lot of times the public will say, I don't feel safe driving at this speed through this location. So like when you talk about in Fargo here, from 32nd Avenue to south of 52nd Avenue and went from 75 to 65 miles per hour. There was a lot of public input on that, whether it's to our agency or DOT. We'll see things out there like, there's more traffic. Traffic's having a hard time merging. We're seeing a lot of close calls or there's crashes going on. We'll make that suggestion. And DOT will see the same things through just some of the stats that they collect through crash data. They'll go out there and do an actual what's called the speed study, where they put equipment on the roadway that actually marks how fast people are traveling through those zones. And they'll do a study and determine whether or not the speed should be reduced, increased, whatever it might be in those locations. And that was one location with just the growth in South Fargo that it was a need to reduce the speed just because of the amount of traffic down there.
It actually feels more right now. It does. I mean, you got to remind yourself, because after 16 years, I'm in a habit of doing one thing.
Yep.
You got to remind yourself.
And those things happen across the state, whether it's a bypass on one of the roadways across one of the new bypasses out west, Highway 2, even our state and local roadways as well.
How do you treat that far left lane? In the Twin Cities area, when I drive there, people get in that left lane and it's meant to be, hey, I don't have to stop anywhere because I don't have to merge to the right type thing. And people usually go a little quicker in that left lane. How do the troopers look at it? Better to get them through that, or?
Everybody calls it the passing lane, right? Well, in North Dakota, it's not considered a passing lane. It's just one of our through lanes. And whether you're in the right lane or the left lane, it doesn't matter to us. There is no law saying you have to merge back over to the right once you've passed somebody. On our interstate system or federal highway, we have four lanes. We would suggest, though, is if you have a chance to move over. Because emergency responders, when we respond to something, we're going to be in that left lane and we're going to stay in that left lane. So if you can clear that, that helps us as emergency responders respond to something. But there is no law in North Dakota like Minnesota where you have to move out of that left lane.
Captain Bryan Niewind, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to visit with him a little more. I want to know what his take is on school getting out, some of the things that we can inform parents to think about with some of their young kids taking to the lakes and whatnot. I'm not sucking up to him, ladies and gentlemen, because he's a trooper. I am because he's an old football player. There. How's that? We'll visit more with Bryan right after this.
Howdy, folks. It's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Boston breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a cum roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing, because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness. During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close.
Call or click now and get Night Hero Binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it.
Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight, just pay a separate fee.
We'll even ship them to you free.
This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
Attention, have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Elmiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Elmiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Elmiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
You know, only one of us in the studio has a gun, so I'm going to behave a little bit. We hung on to him. We're still getting a chance to visit with Captain Bryan Niewind with the Highway Patrol. Brian, a lot of kids getting out of school. This is a different time for you guys. Does that make you pretty nervous?
You know, graduations are all kind of varied this year, too. Like some schools are graduating, I think, this week and next week. Some are closer to the end of the month, so it's kind of staggered, right? And just with the whole COVID thing, it's going to be kind of a weird graduation year as well. But you know, with those, there's all those graduation parties that are going on. Obviously, some of those sanctioned, some are unsanctioned, right? And we just want people to be safe during this time frame, whether it's graduations, whether it's high school, college. We're talking about town celebrations that will be coming up hopefully this year with all the COVID stuff going on. We can get back to some of that normalcy. We just want people to make smart decisions out there, right? Whether, you know, if you decide to go out there and drink, just don't get behind the wheel. Designate a driver, find another way to get wherever you're going, stay where you're at. We just don't want any of those tragedies happening, especially when we talk about graduations or celebrations, things that are going on that are celebrating families and communities and stuff like that. Because, you know, when we talk about North Dakota, a lot of North Dakota is a small town, right? You know, we just had a pretty serious crash down by Lidgerwood, down in the area that you live, right?
Yeah, we lost a young man.
A 15-year-old down there. And those things affect the entire community. You know, we think about it's just a traffic fatality. Well, for us, it's not, because that's somebody's mother, father, daughter, son, aunt, uncle, friend, whatever, coworker.
Ton of life in front of them at 15 years old.
Yeah, and those things are just, they're huge tragedies, and a lot of them are preventable. And our job is to go out there and try and prevent those things before they're happening. And a lot of what happens with whether any crash is, what's property damage, serious injury, fatal crash, 94% of them are driver error. And if we can fix that, we reduce the amount of tragedies that we have each and every day.
Now, you said that summer is worse than winter with road conditions that would, and it does, I think, probably surprise people quite a bit. Obviously, I would guess 4th of July worse than anything else?
Yeah, our summer holidays are bad for when we talk about bad crashes. So whether it's serious injury or fatal crashes, those are our months, and it's all summer long is busy. There's just more traffic on our roadway, so there's more cars traveling, right? Number one. I think people become more, probably, it's not the winter, right? So I'm not wearing my seatbelt all the time. I'm not slowing down because of the road conditions, because the roads are great, right? And they're taking chances more so in the summer months than they are during winter when conditions could be worse.
Okay, so, you know, this is my personal study. It isn't like somebody's paying me to do this study. It was just curiosity in my, kind of like the whole, how many Fords do I see? How many Chevys do I see? How many Dodge? That type of thing. But I checked the other day, and I didn't find one vehicle where they didn't have their seatbelt on. I mean, your message is getting across. I think people are doing better when it comes to wearing them. Or am I wrong?
I think our younger generation is, right? We're so used to, like, as you're raised now, you're in a car seat, right? You go to a booster seat. Your parents are making you wear a seatbelt. You just get used to and comfortable utilizing those. I would say for enforcement-wise, we still see way too many seatbelt violations. And in North Dakota, it's a secondary violation, right? Our law enforcement officer has to find another reason to stop you. You have to meet another violation before I can take enforcement action on a seatbelt violation. And we're still writing way too many seatbelt violations each and every day. And then also, about 60 to 65% of our fatal crashes involve lack of seatbelt use.
Can you tell that, Captain? I mean, when you go up to a site, as many sites, tragic sites, where you are never going to get them out of your head, can you tell that a seatbelt would have saved their life?
Most definitely. You know, if you think about our fatal crashes, 35 to 40% of them are one vehicle rollovers. So somebody's driving down the road, they leave the roadway, launch over an approach, or just roll over because they overcorrect. And in those crashes, people are dying because they're not wearing their seatbelt. If they'd have their seatbelt on, the vast majority of those, number one, you'd survive, And number two, you might walk away from it with no injuries at all if you had that seatbelt on. So those are the tragedies that we try and prevent. And one of the biggest, one of the areas that we have problems with too is just alcohol-related fatalities, right? About 40% of our fatal crashes involve alcohol fatalities. Then you throw on top of that, they're not wearing their seatbelt, right? If they just had their seatbelt on, you made the wrong choice drinking and driving, but if you wore your seatbelt, you probably would have survived. And those are the ones that are difficult to handle, because are there times when you roll over and you're wearing your seatbelt and there's going to be a tragedy, you're going to pass away? Yes, there are those times. But the vast majority of those situations, you're going to survive and or walk away.
Here's how I know you're right. I got an old International Scout I bought, 1980 International Scout, just lap belts. It's all it's got, lap belts, you know that. Took grandkids for a ride the other day. They're like, they looked and looked and looked for the seatbelt, and they were like, we better not tell mom, better not tell dad. I mean, they just had never seen a vehicle like that. So, we've got them trained in to wear a seatbelt.
We do, and it's it starts at a young age, and so hopefully all those parents out there are teaching their kids the right way to do things, and that is to wear your seatbelt, because that's the safest place you can be is inside your vehicle. If you think about the design of vehicles now, you think about that 1988 Scout or 1980 Scout that you have, right, versus a 2021 Ford F-150
with
airbags, crush zones, all that stuff is made to protect you. Where those old cars, they didn't budge, right?
Yeah.
The body took all that force in those crashes, where now a lot of those forces are taken by the vehicle.
And I will tell you that that you're right when you can see rust. Don't get mad at me for saying this, but it just drove and putzed around the lake. But I know that most accidents happen close to home. But I don't think my grandson had ever stuck his head out the window. So I'm like, stick your head out the window. And he's like, and so we were going 30 miles an hour, but it was like, wow, a whole new experience to him. Want to talk about troopers. Want to talk about where we're at. Do you have enough troopers? Are you training in troopers? Explain to people how you can become a North Dakota Highway Patrolman.
Yeah, so first of all, we just graduated a class of 8 troopers in February, and they just got off of their field training, and they're out there working on their own now. So those are 8 additional bodies we did not have at this time last year. We're actually in a hiring process right now where we're actually hiring like 8 to 9 additional troopers that'll start the academy in September, again, graduate next February, and will be out working the road. Right now, we're about 8 to 9 troopers short statewide, which impacts our operations, obviously. We're a small agency. There's 159 of us sworn that can be out there, and when we're 8, 10, 12 short, it's a considerable portion of our trooper population. So if you're interested in our agency, for us, we require a 4-year degree in anything. You can be a teacher, a business person, whatever it might be, okay? A 4-year degree in anything. If you don't have a 4-year degree, if you have a 2-year degree with 2 years of any type of work experience, you worked at McDonald's, you worked at a car dealership, you've worked at a prison, it doesn't matter what it is, 2-year degree with 2 years of some type of work experience, you'd be eligible to be hired by us. Otherwise, if you have 2 years of military and 60 credit hours of some sort of college, again, you're eligible to be hired by us. And we'll put you through all the training you need to have to be a trooper for one of the greatest organizations in the United States.
Say you're a 40-year-old and you always wanted to make that transition. Are they open to even applying, or have they already reached that? By the time we've got the money put into you and train you, we're not going to get as much work out of you.
I would say if anybody's interested, it doesn't matter what your age is, right? You have to be a minimum of 21 years old. The maximum you can be is 60 to be a trooper. So anywhere in that range, if you're interested in this organization and working in law enforcement, I would say apply with us and try it out. See if you can get hired. It doesn't matter if you're 40 or if you're 20. If you're the right candidate, we're going to hire you. And, a lot of what we do is we deal with people. Each and every day you're dealing with people, whether it's at a crash scene, you're helping somebody stranded on the side of the road, we're doing a traffic stop, we're dealing with, whatever it might be, we deal with people. And so we need people that are able to communicate and be able to deal with people. And
I recently seen footage of and this has nothing to do with what your men and women are going through, but I recently seen footage of a trooper in California and how he kept his temper when the lady in the vehicle was kind of shouting and hollering at him and spewing racist. I mean, how you guys are able to do that is beyond me. I mean, some of the things you have to put up with.
We really instill in our people you have to be professional. with the person that's professional back to you or the person that's not. You always need to remain professional. You're always representing, number one, yourself, okay? And you're representing our organization and all the people that currently work for us and all the people that came before us. You know, we have a history, right? And you're representing that history. So it's really important for us to be out there and be professional every day.
What about women? You know, I've seen women highway patrolmen. Are there more women joining, or do they feel comfortable joining? Are you getting applicants?
We are getting applicants. We'd like to see more, obviously. Our current female force right now, correct me, I'm going to be wrong here probably, but it's at 7 or 8 troopers,
okay,
which is a very small portion of our organization. So we would like to have that higher. We actively recruit, you know, whether it's females or males or Caucasians or African Americans.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We want the right people to be part of this organization. We want to represent the communities that we're serving. So anybody, if you're interested, you know, visit with the trooper, call us up, visit our website. We have all kinds of different resources, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Visit us, and we'll be happy to visit with you and get you on your way to being a trooper.
One trooper story from my old legislative days. There was a gentleman, and he was bipartisan. It didn't matter to him whether you're a Republican or Democrat. He hated both I and Gary Nelson, and he was the leader on the Republican side. I was in leadership on the Democratic side, and you know, he had sent some pretty nasty stuff and was coming to the Capitol, and he was behind the rail. And I called Gary and I said, you know, that's the guy that's kind of after us. I said, should we just go out there and deal with it right away, you know, old-fashioned? He said, Joel, get up and walk to the bathroom, and then watch those two guys behind that just look like they're hanging out in here in suit and ties. And so I did, and you know, that guy gets up and he follows me, and those two guys are right there, and he said, Joel, those are highway patrolmen. And they're keeping an eye on him. And
yeah.
I always appreciated that.
Yeah.
I always did, because there was no metal detectors coming into that building.
And that is one of our duties. We provide Capitol security at the Capitol during the session. Outside of the session, we provide security for the governor as well.
Yeah. Brian, you're great at this. You know, your whole staff is doggone good at what they do. Thank them for us. Let's do this again someday. Okay?
I will. Thank you. Thank you, Joel.
Captain Bryan Niewind, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, Liz Cheney just got kicked out of leadership for the Republican caucus in the United States Congress. What do you think of it? Let's visit about it right after this.
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not one, not two, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-270-1219. That's 1-800-270-1219. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues.
Thank you for your patience and understanding.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that the most condescending, rude email you've ever received?
Well, welcome to
National
the third
news.
term of
a certain president. I really believe that.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
Welcome back to Down the Road. They kicked her out. They said, we don't want you anymore. In fact, she had a couple statements to make to the Republican caucus. Now, understand how this works. The caucus itself gets together, and by caucus, I mean group. In this particular case, it was the House Republicans. So Mike McCarthy, the head of the House Republicans, the leader, he's the minority leader right now. If, of course, the Republicans took the majority, he'd be the Speaker of the House, which is, I believe, third in line to be the president. So this is an important job. Now, the third-ranking member of the Republicans in the House was, and I stress the word was, Liz Cheney. Now, Liz Cheney, daughter of Dick Cheney, Congresswoman from Wyoming, the only Congress member that they have, is not someone that's sucking up to Donald Trump. That's not what and who she is. She is a conservative, very conservative. No question about that. Liz Cheney's voting record is far more conservative than the individual that replaced her. That being said, Liz Cheney, in my personal view, and many others, and I think the majority of America's view, was just honest. She believes that Donald Trump had a hand in and riled up and pushed for and got the insurrection. And she wasn't going to duck. She wasn't going to dive. In fact, take a listen to this.
I am a conservative Republican, and the most conservative of conservative principles is reverence for the rule of law. The Electoral College has voted. More than 60 state and federal courts, including multiple judges the former president appointed, have rejected his claims. The Trump Department of Justice investigated the former president's claims of widespread fraud and found no evidence to support them. The election is over. That is the rule of law. That is our constitutional process. Those who refuse to accept the rulings of our courts are at war with the Constitution. Our duty is clear. Every one of us who has sworn the oath must act to prevent the unraveling of our democracy. This is not about policy. This is not about partisanship. This is about our duty as Americans. Remaining silent and ignoring the lie emboldens the liar. I will not participate in that. I will not sit back and watch in silence while others lead our party down a path that abandons the rule of law and joins the former president's crusade to undermine our democracy. Ultimately, Mr. Speaker, this is at the heart of what our oath requires, that we love our country more, that we love her so much that we will stand above politics to defend her, that we will do everything in our power to protect our Constitution and our freedom that has been paid for by the blood of so many. We must love America so much that we will never yield in her defense. That is our duty. Thank you.
She's right. I mean, she's right. She is a diehard Republican. I am a diehard Democrat. She's right. I would never vote for her, and she would never vote for me. But she's right. She saw what happened on January 6th. She saw the insurrection. She knows what would have happened to Mike Pence had that group gotten to him. She knows what would have happened to Nancy Pelosi had that group gotten to her. And it isn't America, ladies and gentlemen. And the force behind it, the individual behind it, is Donald Trump. He didn't understand he had lost the election. Well, that isn't fair. He might have understood he lost the election, but he wouldn't accept it. And he used the power that he has over these people to spin and to lie and to aggravate and to excite and to make them get to our nation's capital, get to a rally, and then instruct them to go up to Capitol Hill and protest. Now, this group of individuals, anyone that knows this group, knows how they would see and take that. Now, you're going to hear people say, well, Trump told them to do it in a peaceful way. Once, twice. Okay, take a look at how many times he said it in a way that got him riled up and talked in code about using force. Take a look at that. Liz Cheney did, and a number of House Republicans did. When she made her argument today, when she made her argument that she should stay in leadership, and this is where the Republican Party is, she wasn't trying to be a leader anymore. She knew they were going to kick her out. That's why she took to the well of the House last night to speak and to say what you just saw. She knew they were going to kick her out. What she was trying to do is two-pronged. What she was trying to do is put the Republican Party back on the path of law and order. How many Republicans do you know that think Democrats don't honor the flag? Right? That's the big thing. Democrats don't honor the United States flag. Well, when you're seeing Trump supporters on the steps of the Capitol bludgeoning a police officer that they drug out onto those steps with an American flag, I think you can make an argument that Liz Cheney could never say that disrespecting the American flag is exclusive to the Republican Party, or to the Democratic Party, I mean. So here we sit. We sit at a crossroads. Well, you know, we need a strong Republican Party. We need it. This nation needs it. We need two good, active parties to keep a check and a balance. One of those parties needs to be the Republican Party. It doesn't need to be the party of Donald Trump. I know many of you that are watching this are just diehard Trump supporters, and I know many of you disagree. But Liz Cheney had a tremendous, tremendous conservative voting record. Now, she's still a congresswoman. She's still a congresswoman from Wyoming. Her popularity there has gone down. It has. Our congressman here in North Dakota has made the statement that he was going to vote against Liz Cheney. Well, he did. I don't know why Kelly Armstrong did that. I don't. I've known Kelly Armstrong for a long time. You've heard him on this show. You've seen him. I respect him. I don't think he's a bad person. But today was one of those, I just want to be popular in my caucus votes. And he was wrong to do it. He was. Also, word getting out that the CDC and others saying that the vaccine is available to individuals 12 and up now. 12 and up now. I can tell you this, if I had a child that was 12, 13 years old, I would be taking them to get the vaccine. I would. I fear it not in any way. The numbers that show what it's done for people versus the numbers that show what side effects have gone with it, are the science is there. I hope you do take your 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old to get vaccinated. When we come back, we're going to talk about ND United. We're going to talk about Bush Foundation with a fellow. We're going to visit with Courtney Schaff when we come back here on Down the Road.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money. So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Pack the house in honor of North Dakota's heroes with Bucks Football Saturday, May 15th, as the Bucks go to battle against the Green Bay Blizzard. Help us honor Gold Star families, wounded warriors, and veterans alike. All veterans and family general admission tickets are free with military ID. Call 701-595-0771 for tickets and more information.
You know, this is going to be fun for me. I don't know if it's going to be fun for her, but it's going to be fun for me. Courtney Schaff is ND United, okay, a Bush Foundation fellow. A lot of stories to tell there. And quite frankly, she's someone that I need to begin with by congratulating. Courtney, good to have you coming down the road.
Thank you so much, Joel. It's great to be here with you.
Explain Bush Fellow.
Yeah, the Bush Fellowship is an investment in people's potential, people who have a proven track record of success and a big vision for their community. I've been spending the last 8 months thinking about taking stock of the last decade of my career and how I want to grow as a leader and what kind of change I want to help influence in our community.
So, getting better.
Getting better,
and
growing.
Proving to somebody that you're somebody worth investing to get better.
Proving to somebody and proving to myself too. That was kind of a fun part of the journey along the way.
You wouldn't have had a hard time proving it to me. I will tell you, Courtney. ND United, talk to people.
North Dakota United, it is our premier union for educators and public employees across the state of North Dakota. We represent 11,500 people. Through the power of that collective, we make change in educator and public employee workplaces and beyond to help, just contribute to that great quality of life we enjoy here as North Dakotans.
Courtney, I was a member when I was in the legislature. I was a member. I didn't qualify once I got out.
Right.
So I couldn't be a member, but I was happy.
We'll give you an honorary.
Yeah, exactly. Can I be honorary? Yeah, we'll just declare that.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell people what you do for a living.
Yeah, so I'm an organizer with North Dakota United. I work mostly with our higher education and public employee membership. My work every day is to show up and help workers put a name to the issues they're experiencing in their workplace, put a name to the solution that they want to see, figure out who has the power to get us from problem to solution, and how we use our collective power to influence that decision maker to make things better.
So do you freak people out in the office because you're the smart one, the Bush Fellow now?
We've got a fantastic team, and the whole office has been so supportive, and I brought breakfast yesterday, which helps. So.
When they see this now, they're going to appreciate how you answered that. I would have answered it different. But I want to talk to you about what you do at the job. I mean, what you do with this Bush Fellowship, what the goal then is for the next 10 years.
So within our constituency groups with NDU, our K-12 teachers are the only workers that have the legal right to collectively bargain their contracts. So securing that right for public employees has been a focus of my work with NDU, and that's kind of where I started with writing from my fellowship, is what is it going to take to get collective bargaining? You know, our society is built so that we go to work every day, we sell our labor to our employer in exchange for the money that we use to secure our basic human needs like food and housing and healthcare. So if we have to exchange our labor to secure those basic human needs, then collective bargaining, or the ability to negotiate the terms and the return on that labor, should be a basic human right.
Totally agree, but let me play devil's advocate, because I get hit with this all the time. You should be paid as per your performance. It shouldn't be done as a block of individuals. And so if one teacher is doing better than the other teacher, I'll give that one a raise and this one doesn't get a raise. Your answer to that?
I think anytime a worker has some sort of say and empowerment in their workplace, you are going to get a great commitment from that worker. You're going to get a sense of shared vision and shared commitment to the success of that workplace, that they have a piece in making decisions.
If I have to live with the rules of ND United, that means you're going to protect the bad teacher. You're going to protect the bad public employee. And so therefore, because of whatever tenure or whatever as a group, I won't be able to get rid of them. What's your answer to that?
We're not here to protect people who break the rules. We are here to make sure that the rules are followed and that every worker gets a fair shake.
So if I collectively get a raise, there's no incentive for me to go out of my way to do work in a harder way. I just phone it in, basically.
Again, I think if you are approaching your workplace with a team mentality and a shared sense of commitment and empowerment, everybody's going to want to do well when everybody's doing well.
So, well, I ain't going to do any more. You know where I'm at. I mean, I think you answered those perfectly.
Oh, thanks.
I really do. When you look at where we've gone as a state, though, we've gone the other way. I mean, every year I would sponsor legislation to give collective bargaining to do those things.
Yeah.
We've gone just the other way. Why do you think that is?
Well, what I have appreciated moving from, my background is in electoral organizing with the DemNPL for a number of years, and I moved into labor organizing after that. And to be able to approach people with these shared values of being able to feed your family, being able to pay the mortgage on time, being able to take your family to the doctor when they're sick, or retire with dignity, those are shared values that it seems like our decision makers are a little bit removed from. We've got a lot of homogeneity and homogenous, a lot of sameness in the people who are making decisions that affect working families that maybe feel a little bit removed from that experience every day.
You just described a supermajority, is what you did. Now, with any supermajority, they're starting to argue. They're starting to debate. I know that the Bosniak caucus is going around from district to district and injecting people into leadership in that district. Is that good or bad? Is it, if we end up with three breakdowns of the legislature, the Democrats who clearly support labor and support ND United, some of the people on the Republican side that support ND United because they understand the value of that public employee, and then the majority, or maybe not even quite that majority so much, that's ultra conservative, that absolutely hates government until their bar, their cosmetic surgery place decides to get PPP money. That's a whole aside. But until that group just absolutely hates government, is that good that they now spin off a little bit?
It's all about organizing, right? And all about turning out critical mass and critical relationship. Meeting people where they're at with the values that they're bringing into those spaces. So I am really curious to know, what is speaking to people about this organization, and that makes it feel like they are truly the best representative for them and their families.
So where's it going to be in the future? Unions used to be much stronger than what they are now. And here's one of my complaints about unions. In my time in the legislature, I represented the workers that were building Bobcats. I did. And they were being treated terribly. They were. There were individuals walking up to them on a Thursday or Friday of their daughter's wedding and being told, you have to work. You have, and they were going, look, I can't do this. And they're like, you have to. And so they were being treated with absolutely no respect. And when they struck, when they went out on strike, that was about respect. It wasn't about wages. It wasn't about benefits. When I walked the line with those guys for 3 days, and we showed Bobcat that, hey, the labor union is tough enough to make their point and to go 3 days, week, heck, a month without pay if we had to. Now they have what we were after. Now it's like they forget how they got there, and most of those union boys in Melrose, down in Gwinner and Lisbon, they don't vote Dem NPL anymore. They vote based upon what they say are their guns and abortion and all issues like that, which, quite frankly, as somebody who supports gun ownership, it ticks me off. So what's your take on that?
Well, first, as the daughter of a steelworker from the Bobcat plant in Bismarck, bringing up a lot of memories here of watching my dad be a union activist and creating change in his workplace. Saying, I think it's vote your union, lobby your interests. And so first, those economic issues really should be first of mind when we're deciding who our decision makers are going to be, people who are going to support the right to organize, support the right for workers to have a voice in the workplace. When times are good, I think it is easy for us to lose that collective memory of when times weren't so good. And when we allow our organization, our organized workplace to disorganize and not move together as a block is when we can, fall back into times when those workers' rights and values aren't being represented.
Courtney, there's a reason that you're a Bush Foundation fellow. There is. You're intimidatingly intelligent. So thank you. Thanks for coming in with us.
Thanks, Joel. It's
You're
been a
going to
pleasure.
succeed at whatever you decide to do. Folks, we're going to take a little break. We'll close this thing out with a few comments about Liz Cheney, with a few comments about where we're headed, and I want to talk just a little bit, if I get a chance as well, and time allows, about what we learned today with the Highway Patrol. So stick around.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree dental card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree dental card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree dental card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree dental card, you save $525. The Carefree dental card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree dental card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
I can't say enough good things about these nano hearing aids.
Real people talking about nano hearing aids.
The hearing quality is great.
Until now, hearing aids used to be too expensive for the average person. Until nano. Call now and you'll get your nano hearing aids for only $297. You'll save $100. When you buy one hearing aid, Nano will give you a second hearing aid free. Call right now.
1-800-213-3815.
Spas, etc.
You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you could pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Elmiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Elmiron,
a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Elmiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Thanks for staying in the rig with us and hanging in there till this last segment of Down the Road. Want to throw a couple things at you that we know now today. We know, number one, that if you speak the honesty and the truth to the Republican caucus, and you are a member of the caucus, you're not going to be able to hang in there. You're not going to be able to be a member in any form, shape, or leadership. And I have absolutely no doubt that the ultra-conservatives are going to head to Wyoming and do whatever they can to make sure Liz Cheney doesn't win the election. They're going to do that because you have to do exactly what Donald Trump tells you to do to be a member, period, plain and simple. We have people like that here in North Dakota. We do. Call them the Bostiats. I call them something else, but I won't say that on TV. But that caucus believes that they can make a difference in legislation. They never have. They never had. So what's their new strategy? They're going around to all of these districts that have Republicans in them, and they're organizing behind their backs to sweep into their district conventions and elect ultra-conservative leaders. It's happening. It's happening all over the state. They've done it down in my home area, and they want somebody who fits exactly into their mold. That whole, what did Trump say we have to do today? Well, yeah, we're lemmings. We're going to jump off the cliff. So let's follow. Let's go do whatever he says today. Well, wait a second. You know, he told you to punch your neighbor. Punch your neighbor. That's exactly what he told us to do. We're going to do it. That's the type of individuals they are. They don't like government until the money comes to them from the government. I can give you example after example of Republican legislators that have done that have been nothing but hypocrites when it comes to, well, everybody else took it versus you shouldn't have it. Well, okay, which one is it? And it always leaves me shaking my head. So there's over 100 Republicans nationally now that are breaking away from the Republican Party, not to form an ultra-conservative party, but to build a conservative party instead of this whole Trump Legion party. Also, look out for your highway patrolmen, too. Not just that construction worker. Those highway patrolmen are in harm's way. They really are. So keep an eye out for that as well. It's good riding with you, folks.